Welcome to the Love Pod, where inspiration, vision, and real connection come alive. Wherever you are, you belong here.
Welcome to the Love Pod, everyone. I am Nathaniel, your host for today. I'm so pleased to welcome not only a special guest, but a friend and just a wonderful brother, soul brother, I would say, Siddharth Vashisht, who is joining us from the Comox Valley on Vancouver Island. I had the privilege of meeting Siddharth, who before even Luciana was born, and he had the opportunity of holding her when she was just a tiny little infant. And just, in meeting Siddharth, we just had such a beautiful kinship with him and with Julia and so many other folks in the Comox Valley. Really pleased to welcome you, Siddharth. You have such a unique perspective of life. I think you have the favorite bio on our Love Pod of all time that just says, "I am an artist." So, welcome to the show, brother. I'd love for you to introduce yourself to our listeners and to just let us know more about who you are. Oh, you're muted, man. Here,
Dude,
there we go.
beautiful. Hello, world. It's fantastic to be here. And I love the energy you bring in, Nathaniel. It's been such a long time I've seen you.
It has been some time, eh?
Yeah, it's been beautiful. I am being, and I continue to explore what it is to experience life, experience this being human,
Hmm.
and every now and then share the trinkets of being alive. And I feel
Share.
that is art.
That's beautiful. I mean, share the trinkets of being alive. You know, it's interesting. Right before the call, we had a moment where you got to see Luciana and how big she's gotten. And I've heard you say this a lot before, like the textures and the colors and the experiences of life. And you talked about it being this infinite expanse. I feel the first time we met, I think, was at a satsang at Michael's place. And so, we could tell your unique flavor and perspective in some of those satsangs. What, you talk about beingness. What is beingness to you, Sid?
Hmm. I feel beingness is arriving again and again, saying yes to the invitation of being here for the
Mm,
time we have.
mm,
I feel that presence again and again invites us, and for sure invites me to be in my body and be amongst those whom I get to share this
mm.
time with.
That's beautiful.
Mhm.
Hey, brother, before we continue, can you just turn up the gain on your mic a little bit? It's a little quiet. I really want our listeners to hear you. You're like, yeah, there you go. You're like one of those. I've been in circles and courses with indigenous elders, and they always
Mhm.
they always talk really quiet like that. So everyone has to lean in and really listen.
I understand. Yeah. Is
Yeah.
that better now?
I would turn it down just a hair, and yeah, it's a lot better. Yeah, it's maybe a little bit too much gain now, but yeah, I think that's pretty good.
There we go.
Yeah, that's probably good. Yeah.
Cool.
So the invitation that presence brings us in each moment. Um, you know, there's definitely some poetry to the way that we all uniquely express our individuation of consciousness, and I feel like you are an artist definitely in that regard and how you paint your perception of reality and talk about the beauty of your experiences. There's depth in what you say, Siddharth. What has the journey been for you to arrive to this level of depth?
Oh, I feel it's been a journey of slowly and surely learning and adapting to the situations I have kind of seen myself in. And listening to others. I feel like I've been I've been always in this seat of just observing a lot around me of how people are able to translate their inner landscape.
Mm,
And I'm always, it feels like I'm always taking notes. I'm like, what works and what doesn't work. And by when I say what works, it's a felt sense of when somebody's speaking about their experience, and somehow when I am in that witness position, what they say goes through me, and just their voice becomes like a song in which my mind it's not activating or actively constructing an argument against, or is constructing almost the second voice, which is then inhibiting my listening.
mhm,
And I just have been curious about it for some time, and I get to just hear the other person to understand what they speak of and how it kind of is first impacting them as they speak, and then how it impacts me. And I feel like just by those many interactions I've had, and I've been very blessed with having interactions with lots of deeply loving people who have understood the art of um, translating our inner landscape to share with the world. And I've just been a student of life
mm,
in that way of listening to those people and just being inspired. I'm like, okay, if I take pause and just kind of understand where I'm coming from, and then let words to come without having a preconceived notion of what I'm about to speak, I can also experience myself in an authentic manner.
mm,
And I think it's just my journey has been to just keep understanding how that authenticity and how that truth kind of demands to be re-experienced in every
mm,
moment.
mm,
It calls out. That's the invitation of presence, I feel.
mm,
It calls out to us to experience ourselves anew. And through that, we invite the world to be experienced through us
mm, mm.
again and again.
There's an incredible amount of depth in what you just said, and I comprehend it from my own direct experience of truly being present with people and really listening. I really like the way you articulated that, when there is thought happening and a preconceived notion, or this, this buildup of a response. I don't know where that necessarily comes from, if it's just the ego, if it comes from a place of anxiety, of like a social conditioning of like, what am I going to say? I first noticed that within myself, being in many indigenous sharing circles, talking circles. And I watched my mind doing this because, there's a little bit of anticipation as the talking stick goes around the circle, like, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? And then I found, after being in circles like this many times, and also in being in meditation and just practicing the art of listening for extended periods of time, eventually I just kind of, you know, um, became the master of the mind and just put it aside. If I noticed thoughts arise, I would just, put them aside and say, that's not the time. It's time to really listen. And I just noticed that my ability to connect with people, and to, like you said, to experience them through yourself, and then to gain a deeper appreciation of the wholeness of life and really the diversity of perspectives that are all around us. It really it increased tremendously, I believe, my own quality and appreciation of life. So I really do value that. What you just said, I think you shared in a way that probably I haven't heard before. So that, to me, it's interesting. You talk about being a student of everyone else. I find there's an originality to you, Sid, that probably has emerged from that deep listening and loving place of holding space for so many people in that way. So thanks for being that kind of light in our world. For those listening who are like, what the heck are these guys talking about? I never stop talking or never stop thinking. How do you stop thinking?
I feel it's an entirely selfish endeavor, I must admit. It's this the being student of life and being student of in a room full of people, to be in that student seat is also very synonymous to be like being connected to my inner child. It's be like, oh, I'm getting to understand something and I'm getting to learn something, and there is just this natural curiosity that I feel I lean into, in which I get to kind of be mesmerized almost. There's this beauty to it. I'm like, wow, this person who through which the universe is coming through, I get to be a witness to this unfolding. And it's entirely playful for me to be in that position. And that's, I feel like when I can lean into it and avoid my egoic resistance to kind of somehow manage like a defense system as the other person is speaking, then I can be playful. Then I can just feel the joy of being part of this family of people that I shared this time with. And it's entirely it's entirely motivated because that's the most fun I can have, really. is is when I can just let go of like wanting to be the guy that I want to,
Mm,
have a point to make, or
mhm.
want to kind of prove myself in some way, and be in that mindset, because then I'm just defensive, and I'm tensed, and I'm not really able to enjoy myself
I hear
or
you.
others.
I hear you. You know, it's interesting. I was just uh, reminiscing about the first time I met you. Actually, now I recall it wasn't at the Satsang. It was actually at Mike and Carolyn's place, and you were basically in silence. I don't know if it was a vow of silence. And I remember sitting next to you on the doorstep and talking to you at great lengths about, our journey and my perspectives of life and probably Christ consciousness, knowing me. And you just sat there and listened and didn't even respond to me. And you know what? I gotta say though, I felt so comfortable just talking with you because I mean, it's not like I go around just blurbing to everybody. I mean, if I'm honest, it's probably like at least 30% of people, but but I could tell you were like deeply listening to me. And that's the gift when someone has that joyful presence and is in their childlike sense of wonder, because it feels not only safe, it feels like home because we've all come from that place at some point. I think some of us left it sooner than others. Some of us managed to, retain a part of it. And for some of us, we just, totally forget. But when we're in the presence of someone like you who is playful, it reminds us of like, oh yeah, I don't have to take myself so seriously. I can just enjoy life. So I think, if I was listening to this and I had lost that presence, I would say, well, what's the secret sauce to that? How do I get back to that place of joy?
Oh boy, I hear you, man. It's it's tricky. I feel it's what's the secret sauce? I've had some conversations around that with other friends. The secret sauce. I love how much we want to how we see how we feel tantalized by the secret. Like I love how through the time we are like finding the secret elixir. Like we
Yeah.
really want, like we have this desire to attain to a certain state, and somehow we put it in a very shiny bottle and bury it in a treasure and
Mm-hmm.
call it a secret.
Mm-hmm.
And just from that, like I like to challenge assumptions, and the most basic ones as my own practice, because I can so easily get wrapped up in assuming that assumptions are based in some kind of truth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So my work for myself is to question the very basic assumptions that seem to come up through me, and the assumption of uh, the secret is already devised by the mind to take me on a journey to search for it,
Mm-hmm.
search for uh the answer, for that easeful presence or that loving presence. And I would say it's always present. Like there's no secret to it. I feel the moment we feel that kind of spark within somebody else, oh, they're just allowing themselves to be. And even in that, just that split seconds when that recognition is there, just because there's a recognition, it also is an invitation
Mm,
that you, it's also available to you
mm,
if you allow it.
mm,
Now, the base of that being um, accessible depends on how separate or unified you feel from the others,
mm, mm,
which is the work of, understanding that you are a wave in the ocean,
mm,
just like other waves in the ocean, and that at any point of time you are interconnected by this web of beings and things and situations, and that anything that the other person is experiencing is directly available for you. Any situation that is being perceived by me at any point of time, I that situation is very much also applicable to me.
mm,
And it creates this kind of like this almost like all of a sudden you're not just living this one isolated, pocketed life of and within this one identity of I am this person, but you are almost this kind of shifting form which kind of adapts to the situations and has this depth of perception, not because there's been this active excavation, but because there has been curiosity that has been nurtured over time through experiences, through presence, that the presence itself is still. It imbues the stillness on the inside. And there's a capacity to really perceive reality for what it is. And then you're not even worried about how you're gonna respond sometimes
mm,
because there's a trust that
mm,
comes with that kind of practice,
mm.
because you realize more and more and rest more and more into that. Here we are.
Yeah. I know what you mean. For me, I've noticed the contrast, and it's funny you say like I noticed, right? We all, to some degree, I feel like in order to have this, human experience of individuation, experience that level of separation until we really do cultivate that stillness that you speak of, where we can trust. I mean, the words I would say is there's a loving intelligence that gives rise to the wave that we are, to reflect back to you, and like we can trust that there's a whole ocean of loving intelligence supporting that wave, so we don't have to try to force anything when we can enter into harmony with those around us. I think it's a really beautiful expression of what you just said, of what I understand the state of heaven to be, or a level of enlightenment. And I think that it's a continuum. It's not. We tend to be conditioned in the West, at least, to be very, you know, um, polarizing in our thinking, or binary, as if you're either enlightened or you're not. You're either smart or you're dumb, and I feel like there was this continuum, and meeting individuals like yourself, like there's levels of being more present, like literally having more light or more awareness of who you really are within the physical body, and that is a level of enlightenment, I would say. And I know you also do a lot of work helping people somatically in the body. Is that part of your service, Siddharth? Like in terms of like being that presence with others, recognizing that interconnection that you speak of, and then in holding space for people from a place of stillness, you're able to ignite that same opportunity or invitation, like you're saying, for them to recognize that same self at the source of their being that actually helps them become more awakened just by being in that presence.
Those are beautiful invitations. I love that you brought up the concept of enlightenment because it's something I feel I wrestle with every once in a while. I'm like, what is it? Is it is it a state of permanence that I'm seeking, which is similar to like the immortality. It's
Hmm.
like, and w- somehow how my mind sometimes works around that concept is it assumes enlightenment to be this out there phenomena
Hmm. Hmm.
which is larger than life as I experience it. And sometimes it's just as subtle and as tiny as a singular minuscule moment and
Hmm.
catching it, being able to just experience that that tiny, tiny, tiny uh settling into the infiniteness of the
Hmm.
moment.
Hmm.
I know it's very abstracted
Well, not really.
for
I
the
think
list.
it makes sense, right? Because, a lot of what even our modern scientific language is pointing towards is, these concepts of interconnection. I mean, we're realizing more and more the depth of this. I mean, not only is there Western sciences, to me, there's a whole field of indigenous sciences. You know, uh, I've been exposed to some of that depth from like Eastern philosophical perspectives, like Ayurvedic perspectives, like Taoist perspective. Like, there's a whole, field of ancient cultivation of these arts and sciences that I feel are collectively a buildup of that stillness. We're talking about, innumerable, people who have attuned to that and then added like almost like a repository of wisdom and perspective to these fields that are now beginning to reemerge in a time of accelerated development, for our species with technologies that are emerging and now able to also tune into these sources of knowledge like AI can have access to these huge amounts of information and then point us and help us learn, but it will never take away the importance of that presence that you're talking about.
Mhm.
And I feel like there is a yearning for a lot of people who are still seeking that outward thing. I mean, you could put anything as that outward thing. You can put enlightenment, sure. You can also put being a rock star. You could put, having a private jet or being like all those things that we think are outside. Just like Buddha realized, like all of this is happening inversely within oneself because we're tethered to that infinite niceness, right? So, but I do feel like there are a lot of beings on our planet who are scrolling,
Mhm.
looking for that connection piece and not maybe recognizing it because it's like that you talk about that settling. It's like what I notice about the ego or the thought, that drive that wants to think it's separate and it has a purpose, right? It keeps us it allows us to survive, it allows us to function to a point. But it was never intended to be the orchestrator of our life. But I noticed that there's like this slipperiness. As soon as you try to get onto that moment, it like,
Oh
you know,
yes, because
you
you're
know,
trying.
exactly. And so there's a lot. So it's like scrolling. You're trying, you're trying, you're trying, but the allowing piece is an art. And, you know, I know you talk about the struggle of like, well, what is enlightenment? I think that's a very important question. If it is a state, maybe not of permanence, but of unconditional love and acceptance of whatever is, and it's just like you mentioned earlier, this attunement to witnessing reality. It's like the Bhagavad Gita. That's what it means, like as it is. Like when you're in a state of just total connection to that knowing, that truthful place within you of what truly is the foundation of this, and you no longer do the thing because you're not trying, you're just being. perhaps that is a way to look at it.
I understand that kind of settling in. It's like it's the end of and the end of struggle is I think the inlet into the state of feeling that blissfulness
Mm,
is usually, I think, connected. And I love how, out there, the concept of enlightenment, the concept of love, the concept of wholeness, like the word can be replaced, but what it carries with it is this externalizing of reaching out for something.
mhm,
And that's why I love the word attainment as well. I love the word attainment because it's something about that word speaks to something that is already the case, and it's
mm,
just becoming available for it.
mm, mm.
And I love my friend Frank. He has this saying on a fridge. It says "enlighten yourself." Like he just has a magnet, and he's really like he reads a lot of Zen. He's got into a lot of Zen Buddhism practice, and I have challenged him on like asking like what does he mean by enlighten yourself? Because a lot of Zen teachers they kind of make jokes around it and saying that oh that's another made up thing in your mind that you want to seek now instead of a Ferrari. Because and the way he mentioned that was so beautiful, and he said in each moment we have the choice to wake up,
Mm,
and it's just as natural as sipping tea.
yeah.
In each moment we have now it doesn't depend who you are, what you've done, what your history, what your trauma, whatever is your context that you're living in and what you are doing. You're a lay person, you're a monk, you're a teacher, you're a student, doesn't matter who you are. If you can wake up to the realization that each moment you can, if you choose to awaken,
Mm,
I feel it invites us to, just touch the lips of that state of beingness in which
mm,
we are open to receive. We're open
mm,
to receive what that moment offers.
mm. It's beautiful. I love how you keep bringing it back to an invitation. Um, do you feel like there is a aspect of us or our wholeness that is constantly in that position of witnessing, and it allows us to have perhaps a like a, for lack of better words, like a tether of our experience that goes out and experiences a level of separation, but that witnesser is always there, and that really is always the invitation.
Um, well, in that way of like, well, for my own simplicity of mind, I tend to not entertain a state of devising methods for witnessing myself
Mm,
or to kind of affirm within me that, oh, this is what I'm doing. See,
mm,
look what I'm doing. Like
okay.
I try to, uh, or I aim to realize a state of undivided mind in
Mm,
which my own struggle again, or my attempt to get it,
mm,
to understand it, I keep letting go of that. Like it's
mm,
like I practice that letting go of, oh, okay, here you are again concerned by wanting to make sure that there's a witness, man. Make sure there's a witness. Make sure that you're getting it right. Make sure you're conscious. But it's just another, tangent of that anxious heart because
Mm,
we're like, I'm feeling scared or we feel
mhm,
scared.
mhm,
And we are something in the moment, something with it. If when I'm feeling that way, in which I want to start understanding myself from those perspectives, I kind of try to kind of catch that deception It's like, what are you escaping right now?
mm,
What do you want? Like, what is it right in front of you that you're not wanting to face?
mm,
That
mm,
you are seeing, that you're just going back to the backseat of the mind to kind of witness, whether who is the witness, like to
mm,
go into those arenas,
mm,
to bring it back and to be like, no, I'm just gonna come into the totality of where I am. And that's when body has been really crucial for me
mm,
to be able to do that, because mind is really good at asserting itself.
mm, mm.
Like, at least mine is. It convinces me all the time to chase my tail.
Yeah. Well said.
And I'm like, yeah, actually, that's a good point. I should see what is that? And then it just goes
Mm,
into perpetual looping
mhm,
until I'm tired, and then I'm like, ah, okay, here we are again.
mm, mm,
That's when, to speak of what you mentioned before, the body has become for me and has been a beautiful tool to be able to embody this kind of dynamic states that I find myself in. Because sometimes when something is actively revealing itself to me and I do not have the capacity to be present with it, I've got strategies to kind of like, I start to tap my feet,
mm,
or I deepen my breath to be able to kind of remember that, hey, I'm safe.
mm.
Like, it's okay. Like, whatever's in front of you, know that your feet are on the ground.
Yeah.
And there's this reorientation to truth that is ever present.
Mm,
And the way I've kind of explored and understood that is, I've read this book, The Way of the Warrior, and he explains in a very beautiful way, in which he says that imagine sitting naked on the bare earth, and depending on whatever context you're living in, your bottom is always touching the earth. Doesn't
mm,
matter what you do, what you think of, what you speak of, whom you become, that earth is not going to leave you.
mhm,
It's always supporting you.
mhm,
And that's what the heart seeks, is that uh, trust in something,
mm,
that sense of accountability. I'm like, hey, is that person going to be accountable to what they're saying? Or are they
mm,
going to protect? Or are they going to stay with me? And that connectedness of, oh, earth is always there
mm,
and sky is always there. You can say sky or heavens. And these two entities and elements are ever present, doesn't matter which situation I'm in.
mhm,
And somehow, sometimes, or often, when there are situations happening in real time and real life, you're like, whoa, how do I kind of deal with this? It's somehow the mind forgets that it's standing safe between those two
mhm,
uh, constants.
mhm, mhm,
And I feel the act of embodiment is a reorientation to arriving at your rightful place in
mm,
the web of things,
mm,
at your rightful place of being,
mm.
that you are here, man. Like, you're here.
Yeah.
And you're well, and you are whole, and you belong. You
Mm,
belong here.
mhm,
You are a bridge between heaven and earth.
mm,
And my awareness of it, or my knowing of it, depends on how much presence and attention I can bring in each moment.
mm,
So it's entirely up to me to enlighten myself to that
mm,
fact
mm,
that I
mm,
understand and know. And we all can know that.
mhm,
If we sit on the earth, we know that, oh, it's always there.
mm,
And having different practices to embody and reorient ourselves towards that knowing is what I feel I do for myself, and I uh, share with those I am around.
Mm.
And that's part of also not taking things seriously, I feel.
Mhm. Mhm.
Is doesn't matter where the when I'm hearing somebody, and mostly that somebody is myself, in which I'm spewing stories of this is what it is. Oh, that's how it goes.
Mm,
Oh,
mm,
that they did that. And there's this propulsion, and I see myself going into uh or I'm just witnessing myself desiring a certain state in which I feel this exhilaration of emotional waves going up and down. And it's like, okay, you're doing it because you enjoy it too. It's like I kind of see it for what it is. I'm like, okay, you are doing this because this is what you feel like what you want to do right now.
mm,
And
mm,
in time, you will arrive at a state in which you are here.
mm.
And it's same with others too, I feel. It's like, okay. And that's how you can also be with others, I feel like, is knowing that, the law of impermanence is that, okay, this person is me in different clothing, and they're having a right, man. They're just doing it. And you just like be that base for them, that
Yeah,
witness for them, like, hey man, we're here. I understand. Like
yeah, yeah.
it's okay.
It's a very cosmic, childlike perspective of witnessing. No, I really appreciate so much of what you said, Siddharth. Like to me, um, I heard a few things that I just want to echo back to you because you talk about, that feeling of safety needing to be very important. And it sounded like from my language, the acronym that came to me years ago for fear is feel everything and remember. And you spoke to that remembrance, right? Because I really feel like those are really I mean, there's to me, from my perspective, the intelligence that ocean that's supporting everything here is so vast and so deep. None of us can fully comprehend it from an individual perspective. It's just so vast. I mean, it's the power that creates worlds and cosmos. Like it's just so. And you talk about, the sky, and then you talk about the earth. Um, and the name that carries me is Ondakin. Aki means land. And a lot of what you said was very resonant of what Christ actually talks about in the Christ letters, that this concept of mother consciousness is all form. It is the earth. It is our bodies. It's the magnetic drive that, we're in this new age thing. Everyone's, so obsessed about the law of attraction, but the law of attraction, when you're operating from a place of self-will, well, you're out of harmony with what you said about that trusting that life. Like if you really are trying and you're taking it so seriously and you're really trying to make something happen, like you probably can force something to happen, but are you in harmony with Mother Earth? Are you in harmony with that earth right below your feet and with all the other expressions of earth that are around you? And so, like, what I was thinking, when you were talking about that connection to the sky, you think of it like, I mean, there's a lot of indigenous cultures called it Father Sky, Mother Earth. And
Hmm.
in the letters, he talks about that too. There's the father activity, it's the movement, it's the will of life, and then the mother impulses of divine consciousness is that
Hmm.
bonding and rejection. So it's like we're in this dance between it. And he literally says, enlightenment is when you find harmony of those two impulses of consciousness and you allow them to lead your mind and heart. So then you're in harmony with all the other dancers around you, not bumping into anyone with your private jets, like.
Uh-huh, uh-huh,
Yeah.
uh-huh,
So my question for you is like, as you become attuned and you're able to be just this present, do you think that what's the name of the term in science? There's it's not entanglement. I think it's emergence. So when when you put all the metronomes on a plank of wood together, and they all start, they're doing this, and then eventually they start finding the rhythm, and everyone's doing
Syncs
this.
up.
It syncs up. I'm wondering if that is just because there's this. I feel like our species, through a lot of indoctrination and conditioning, has been, you know, given a window of seeking that external, like get the thing and then you'll be happy, and you can do what you want. We know it's backwards, and I think there's enough of people awakening in the world to realize that beingness is really the game. It's about who you're being, who you really are, and how you're vibrating in terms of, are you closer to love and that unconditional power, or are you missing that? Are you slipping because you're going into fear? And it's not always easy because there's so much invested um, monies and systems in place to get the attention of the nervous system from a place of fear, because it's easier to attack somebody from a place of lack, from a place of survival, like. So for us, we don't watch media, and we really are mindful of what we listen to, and that. But there are a lot of folks who are in that place. So yeah, I guess my just circling back to the question, if it's making sense now, is like, as you're attuning more and more to that stillness of presence, holding space, do you find that just that invitation, it's rippling out through your communities, and those you're touching, and having those far-reaching effects?
Hmm. Wow, yeah, that's yeah, I feel a big part of what I've experienced in this process of attunement is feeling how much struggle there is. And yeah, it's hard to feel the yeah, to feel the desperation too.
Hmm.
And and also understanding that that is me too. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a very interesting space that I've witnessed myself in many times, and I witness others too. Is if I am around somebody, community, circle, and I see and I feel somebody struggling, and kind of still continuing that loop of suffering, and my whole body is reacting to it. It's responding to, like, in an energetic manner, of just feeling restless and feeling like, just like, I gotta say something, or I gotta go and rescue them in some way. And it's been part of deep healing for me too, to kind of be in those spaces and be around people and be around, community and friends, in which I get to just simply be beside them, be with them as they live and make the choices that they do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a, yeah, and it continues to, test and kind of purify me too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it continues to clean me up on the inside. The more I kind of see and feel others, and oftentimes I limit my interactions. I limit my connection with others, and I often close down, and I'm like, I don't really know if I want to go there, or if I want to really be in this
Mm,
connection because I don't see if you're gonna stay with it, and I have to
mm,
feel it. Like,
mm,
so I constantly see within myself I'm negotiating
mm,
of whom I want to be around
mm,
and how I like and how I'm gonna be with them. Not
mm,
really how, I don't really think I really control that as much now, how I'm gonna be. But I have these references for myself. I'm like, okay, when I'm in a situation or position, this is usually how I respond.
mm,
And of course, there's a lot of space for something to occur spontaneously. But there's also, communal agreements.
mm,
And some of those agreements are supported by, communally held value system,
mm,
which are unspoken usually.
mm,
Um, a part of this dance is again acute observation for me
mm,
of where I am and whom I'm alongside with,
mm.
because I feel like when that attunement happens within me, it challenges others as well.
Yes.
Like I feel it props up a mirror
Mm, mm,
for the people within that circle or within that arrangement or group of people. And some of those people are not quite expecting that.
mm, mm,
And it's a dance. It's a
mm,
dance, man. I mean, we both have, I'm sure, witnessed that kind of situations in which, there is a quote unquote a conscious circle or
mm,
conscious
mm,
group of people who are like, yes, we are here to understand the truth and we're here to love, and yet, and I say that too, like I'm a conscious person, I'm a loving person, and
mm.
also sometimes when truth comes like right there, I'm like, I, I don't know, man. I don't know. And I see that in others too.
Yeah.
So there is this humorous
Yes.
humbling that
Mm,
occurs constantly.
yeah. Well, I
Because
think, whoops, go ahead, man. Go.
it's to the point of like first time I met you on the stairs. It's like, and I'm kind of just practice because inside when I was with other people, I was feeling just kind of overwhelmed. I was like, oh, there's a lot going on here, but I don't really feel quite I can anchor in with people here. So I gotta just go outside and just kind of come back to myself and my
Mm,
nervous system. And then I see uh, you come along and kind of expressing yourself in that heartfelt manner. And it's for me was to practice this. And that was like, in that moment, there is this negotiation occurring within my mind. I'm like, okay, do I let him in? How do I participate in while I do not abandon myself and where I'm at? So there's this active reorienting to not to please
mm,
like to please the other's personality or identity,
mm,
but to trust that if someone is coming from that heartfelt place of outpouring, it's okay for me to be in that space of reception, which doesn't have to, r- go by the rules of active listening or,
mm,
responding this and that.
mm,
And in that moment, I choose to enlighten myself in in a way that didn't um, continue this loop of self-abandonment
mm, mm,
in which I'm like, oh, okay, I'm hearing you, and I just let it pour through me. Like
mm,
it's
mm,
there's no, I just it's just water going through.
mm. I, the way I relate to that is there's one practice I found when I was doing a lot of social work is just recognizing that my body is actually space. We
Mm-hmm.
know it's 99.999% space, and just allowing that to just everything just flow through me. So I'm not holding on, I'm not creating any sankharas, emotional entanglements with people. I'm not trying to fix anything. I'm just because I feel like there's on one hand, what I'm hearing you talk about is there's, deep compassion, which is inclusive of the self. So there is a care and concern for others, but without care and concern for your own context and your own situation, like it's not real compassion. Then it's into people pleasing. You're into these imbalanced relationships of doing and taking, and you're not in a mutually reciprocal relationship that should be that has the potential to be uplifting for both when you're not
Mhm.
honest with yourself. So there's that, and there's also I feel like a level of wisdom from having multiple experiences, but also a level of true knowledge. Because once we know more of who we really are, holding presence for someone who's going through a struggle, when you recognize that, well, not only are they responsible for the circumstances in their life, they also have a hidden mastermind within them that can help them through the situation, and it's probably for their growth. This is a loving seed that it's a loving response to a seed that they planted at some point on their journey, and they might not see it as a gift, but usually everyone on the other side of it eventually looks back and be like, yeah, that was the greatest gift that ever happened to me, that thing that happened. you know
So please take it away from me.
yeah.
When you're in it, of course, man.
Yeah. So I feel like there's a lot of depth to you sharing what you just did, because I feel like this is the question, in our quest that brought us out west to meet, you and the wonderful community members that are really this organic, flowing community. There's no like, it's not like you're all living on a commune together. You're all doing your own unique things, but you gather, you do things together, you meet at certain places. There's so much beautiful nature in the Comox Valley, and we miss it. We look forward to coming
Mhm.
again to visit. A- and one of the things we noticed is there's a lot of buzz around community, and our guiding question and really our leading values going out there was, what is conscious community, and how do we contribute to it and build bridges between conscious communities? And that's still a question that guides me. It's been an informative question for me. And what we notice is there are a lot of people who are seeking community, um, but they're seeking community from a place of depletion. They're seeking it
Mhm.
from a place of they're wounded and they didn't have their needs met of connection, of community, so they're looking for a community to basically provide that for them.
Mhm.
But I really feel like the healthiest communities are composed of individuals who are really more of the mindset and paradigm of, what can I contribute to community? What can I offer? How can I uplift those who I encounter genuinely, authentically, and even I would say most importantly, vulnerably? Because a lot of what you shared about being in that childlike sense of joy and wonder, especially around people who may, have not done the levels of inner work that you go through when you go on a quest of awakening, it can be painful, especially when you're around a lot of selfishness and you are a true example and teacher of love, because love is not always just like giggles. Sometimes it is about being very direct and very compassionate, but also very clear about what is going on if there's, you know, energetic imbalances in systems. So it like I love how you talk about it being a dance and this kind of flow, because what do you have to say about that? I feel like there's a lot there
Mhm.
that maybe I'm not being super clear about.
No, I understand. What I'm hearing you say is to imagine what does an enlightened society looks like.
Yeah, that's a good question.
And
Thanks for the brevity.
holy moly. And it's an interesting question, which we are bound to come across on our journey, I feel like. And I've definitely, that's part of what we're doing here at Unity Sanctuary too, is doing this experiment in truth. Like for me, like it's for us, it's like, okay, how we are experimenting with what it is to live in truth in community.
Mm-hmm.
And the skeptical side of me asks, is it even possible?
Mm-hmm.
Especially, and the what it kind of reorients me towards is the angle from which I'm seeking what I'm seeking, and just this clear, intimate understanding of what am I desiring here, like, and becoming honest with it.
Mm-hmm.
And part of becoming honest and being sincere with oneself is it, and that process for me has naturally evolved into this natural sense of inclusivity.
Mm-hmm.
The more sincere I feel within my own emotions, within my own, demands I place upon myself, and disappointments I face, and um, the shortcomings I, label as failures to myself, the more my heart grows, I feel like. The
Mm-hmm.
more I feel I understand the attempts I'm making to reach something outside of myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that also shifts drastically the concept of what an enlightened society is.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the passages I once read, it spoke of when does one know that they've attained to the truth? And it spoke of when all things you see are beautiful, all things you hear is beautiful, and all things that are being done are beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just unconsciously became an anchor for me, I feel like, long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel it still rings to something really true.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just as simple as that beauty is in the eyes of the beholder.
Mm-hmm.
And that awakening too is available if we are willing to see,
Mm-hmm.
especially in a communal setting.
Mm-hmm.
When we see each person as a teacher, as already whole, the need to devise, the need to choreograph an environment becomes a little bit relaxed. It
Mm-hmm.
becomes a little bit okay. It's already here, man. Understand, and there are lots of different hues and textures which feel abrasive, perhaps, feel a little bit out of alignment, and also what is condemning them to be so within me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is condemning them to be like, oh, that's not a texture you should be relating to actively to my fellow brother or fellow friend. um and that kind of re-invokes that curiosity, re-invokes that innocence,
Mm-hmm.
re-invokes that reminder of presence, that hey buddy, you get like reorient yourself from this hotshot of
Mm-hmm.
precision truth seeker archetype, and just see the world for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because because even that stance of the seeker and the lover, the revolutionary who is here to do this, it doesn't matter how beautiful and aligned it feels, it again perpetuates a role and a perception of reality, which again makes us miss the mark.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel quite passionate about it, is what I'm realizing right now as I
Mm-hmm. I
speak.
see that.
And I like alongside Michael and Charlie, that's a reminder that kind of keeps coming in, is in our seeking to not get too identified with the seeker, that we
Mm-hmm.
miss
Mm-hmm.
the invitation that is constantly present with us
Mm-hmm.
to be able to feel, perceive, and live and
Mm.
experience this miracle
Yeah.
that we
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
To be amongst many is a miracle.
Mm.
And the more deeper we kind of understand it within ourselves, we really start to see the circus for what it is.
Mm.
And it's a beautiful circus. Now
Yeah. Yeah.
it's it can feel like the beauty can feel terrifying in its intricacies, but there's just one thing.
Mm.
There is there is this oneness in myriads of forms,
Mm.
revealing themselves in so many different colors and changing all the time. And it's quite like to be in that state of experience. Like when I'm in that, even now, like my body experiences this aliveness, this shimmering
Mhm.
of, whoa, this is existence.
Mm.
I'm experiencing this raw energy, this
Mhm.
raw experience within my environment, and getting to share this
Mm.
with these myriads of forms around me.
Mm.
That's when the mundane language we use, not mundane language, but the repeated language we use to associate with reality, start to unravel itself and reveal itself in the magical, mystical, um, colorful ways uh, it is. Like
Mhm.
the world is truly patiently waiting for for our senses to
Mm.
become attuned, to become keen. I'm sure there's a poet who said that. I can't remember. But the world is waiting.
Mhm.
The universe is waiting for us, for our senses to become more keen, to
Mm.
become more observant, so
Mm.
it can reveal itself, so that the magic can reveal itself. It requires us to not demand it to reveal itself to us, because it's not going to happen like that.
Mm.
It's not gonna happen through coercion. It's not gonna happen through struggle. It's not gonna happen through identifying to that passion of a seeker alone.
Mm.
The very basic foundations of that experience is directly linked to our capacity to receive.
Mm. Beautiful. Yeah, very well said. There's a lot of depth there, Siddharth. I know that I'm going to go back and re-listen to that. There's a lot of poetry flowing through you today. And it speaks to a level of spiritual maturity too. When you live in community, I mean, it's very much a blessing to have people that you can reflect these things back to. There have been times where I felt very isolated, and part of what we see, it's funny you use the word desire. Um, I heard this from a tape from Tony Robbins years ago that desire, actually, the root of that word means of the Father. So when we understand it that way, it's like it exists within the possibility of Father consciousness. Therefore, it is a possibility of experience if we choose it. And a lot of what you're talking about is that choice of being present, of listening, of allowing, of receiving. There's a lot of beauty there, and it's interesting. So I started a rewrite because I was writing a memoir of the moment of Luciana's birth,
Mhm.
and I won't share right now why I did a rewrite, but I had this book basically written out from a certain perspective, and then I realized it just something about it just didn't feel right. So I'm doing this rewrite of this Chronicles. But while I was writing it, I thought it was a method. Everyone's trying to do their own unique method or whatever. But this came out, and this has been years in the work for me. Um, I call it the inspired term for it is the moment home miracle. And as you know, you use with the Uni Sanctuary. Michael asked if you could use it, that inspired idea of heaven on Mother Earth. I like to even think of it as heaven omni Mother Earth when it's just radiant and we're all glimmering like that. I feel like that's really the ultimate goal. But it starts within, right? And I feel like it's not a method; it's actually a community operating system where
Mm.
when we recognize the miraculous that we are and that we share and that life is this series of miracles and we live from that paradigm of reality, all of a sudden the playfulness, the wonder, that sense of childlike joy is the standard in a community, and it maybe makes it clearer in terms of those values that you're
Mm.
talking about. When there is, because the reality of a community is there's dishes to be done. We're not maybe all at the point of manifesting bread out of thin air. There's bread to be baked. There's firewood to chop. And sometimes there isn't always a willingness to do those things, and it can fall on the shoulders of people who have maybe had that more propensity to do the work. And so I feel like a healthy community, it evokes that in everyone. It's like there's this shared harmony, almost like everyone becomes bees, and there's this dance and everyone understands like it's up to us. Like there's no savior coming to do the firewood. There's no savior coming to bake the
Don't
bread.
burst my bubble, man. I'm really hoping.
Well, in the Christ letters, man, he says his mom discovered him after he came back from the desert. He had fresh loaf of bread in his hands one day. And I often think like, wow, like bread is this complex thing. It's like a living entity that's baked in a certain conditions.
Mhm.
It's a chemistry to it. I'm like, what the frig did that bread taste like?
I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah.
Man, I really do not appreciate though you saying that there's uh wood to be chopped, man. That's not it's, that's
I love
that's
chopping wood.
I
You
hear
know,
you. Me too, once I get into it. Once I get into it.
it's cathartic when you get that good split. You feel powerful.
Man, I think most of my spiritual journey, like the integration that am currently going through and it will continue on, it it reorients me to do the dishes, man.
Mm.
It's an oof, man. I haven't been challenged by the dark night of the soul as much those dishes do.
Mm.
As much as those everyday things around. Okay, like I haven't folded my laundry still. And it's like, man, I'm so enlightened. I have so much wisdom coming through me, but they don't really do things that need doing sometimes.
Mhm. Can I offer you something of that? Because I,
Please,
I grew
man.
up in the country, and my dad being a builder, we like built the house from the ground up, and a lot of the trees that were logged from the land to make the space went into the cabinets and stuff. So for a long period of time, we were actually living around the hearth of the home. We had a wood oven, so we cut a lot of firewood, and our kitchen was like this makeshift kitchen. We did not have a dishwasher, so I essentially grew up being, for the majority of the time, the dishwasher. My sister always chose drying the dishes because she could do it in like 3 minutes compared to like washing the dishes, which is like 20. And for a long time, it bothered me, right? I'm like,
Mm.
I'm always the one doing the dishes. And growing up in the country, good, love bless my parents, but they really liked having us there as workers, especially my mom. Anything that she could get us to do
Oh
that she
my
didn't have
God.
to do, like cleaning toilets stuff, we had to do. And it wasn't a choice; it just was reality. But in the dishes, particular, it for years, it really bothered me. And then it struck me one day while I was doing the dishes, my hands in nice warm water. And I was reflecting, I'm like, every plate that I'm washing is like someone had a meal, someone was blessed by this thing. And I started shifting my awareness instead of like myself, and I just started having gratitude for abundance. And
Wow.
I now it never bothers me to do the dishes. I often, I'm always the one up because I like to move too. I'm a mover. I'll do the dishes, I usually, what I find myself whenever I'm in a state of appreciating something, I usually hum or sing. And putting my hands in that
Mm.
soapy water, it just makes me hum. It makes me sing. It makes me listen and have that presence with the people who are still around.
Mm.
And I recognize at some point, like it was a choice for me to be frustrated when I had my hands in the water. It was a choice, you know, and I just got to a level of self-honesty and I was like, I can choose a
No.
different choice. But I gotta say, if I was living in a community and I was the only one and there was just stacks and stacks of dishes that no one rinsed, and I would probably call it a team meeting.
Yes. All right, guys. What's
Yeah,
happening here, man?
yeah.
We
Teamwork
could.
makes the dream work, and the dream's not working, guys.
I hear you, man. I'm so guilty of that. Ah, but I'm learning. I'm learning how to expand that awareness into action. Like,
Mm.
man, my mom's voice comes online all the time, and I'm like, oh, mom, thank you. And other people become my mom too. Now we're getting,
We're
now we
getting
got
in,
channelers.
we're getting into the deep weeds here.
I know. Yeah, it's the piece around yeah, that voluntary struggle. Man, it's deeply humbling to kind of feel that come through in everyday life. I'm
Mm,
like, oh, okay, I got up now doing these few tasks. I have to almost infuse spirituality
mm,
into these little things.
mm,
Otherwise, I just feel like I'm gonna die. Like I don't know
mm,
what it is. I
mm,
feel like this is this is eternal damnation.
mm.
It's like I have to eat food and then I have to wash my dishes
Yeah.
and then I have to repeat the cycle until I die.
Mm. Maybe not. You might get to a level of enlightened mastery where
I'm practicing, man.
you have a bunch of pupils feeding you and washing dishes for you, Siddharth.
I really think a lot of you, a lot of yogis, these,
Well, you know
these
what?
are my,
You know what's interesting? Like we had a guest on the show earlier, maybe 3 or 4 days ago, and we were talking about the Kali Yuga and this particular Kali Yuga being a golden Kali Yuga, like the opportunity. You know, we've talked a little bit about that, the difficulty it is a bit about being around a lot of suffering, about being around this thing, but it seems to be a pervasive part of the cycle that we're going through as a species. There's a pressure, right? There's a societal pressure to that I feel is giving us the cocoon to emerge from.
Mm,
And you know, it was actually on the island at River's place because I used to go fill up my water at River's place. And she had a friend visiting from the UK, and I never heard this before. And I never, you know, it's on me. I haven't done the scientific research, but it was so poetic. I like sharing this. So whether it's true or not, it sounds beautiful. And so I'm going to pretend it's true because I always resonated with the concept of transformation that the butterfly evokes and is a metaphor for all of us, I believe. And to me, I think a lot about our species as being like caterpillars in this time. And it's very difficult for a caterpillar to imagine itself as a butterfly. The perspective, the capacity to soar compared to the need to crawl, you know, all the different faculties and senses that are available to a butterfly are just unimaginable to a caterpillar. And yet we all have this calling within us, this like you said, that pull, that yet there's a desire to reach a certain state. So there's this like inherent thing. Anyways, I f- I cannot recall the woman's name right now, but she told me she brought up the butterfly. I didn't even bring it up as I was filling up water by the river at River's place. She said, you know, Nathaniel, in each caterpillar, there's something called imaginal cells, and apparently it's the perfect blueprint of what that butterfly is going to look like, its shape, its patterns, and all that stuff. And that makes sense that on some level there is, you know, within the information of that seed that is a caterpillar, you know, the blueprint for what it will emerge in. What she said next was so interesting to me. She said, once a caterpillar goes into its chrysalis state, what the imaginal cells start activating. And what she said is that it's interesting because you think the caterpillar cell will be like, okay, I'm ready to be a butterfly and just open itself. But what actually happens is the caterpillar has a lot of resistance. It's like, what's going on? There's like, I'm feeling like I'm being attacked. This is not how I know myself as a caterpillar. And the resistance that the caterpillar goes through, she said, is the exact energy that the imaginal cells need to actually come to
Mm,
fruition and to express. There's an energetic relationship. So I feel like in our culture, we have a lot of, like you said, we have assumptive beliefs like, I don't want to feel anxious. I don't want to feel pressure. I just want things to be easy. But if everything's just easy, and as a consciousness of oneness, everything was just, it was just like everything was just available. Oh, I want a Ferrari. Oh, I got a Ferrari. Oh, I want to soar. Oh, I'm soaring. And we didn't have to go through some of the vicissitudes and the challenges that cause the struggle of us to
mm,
emerge as a character, as a pillar of unique individual consciousness and a master that has literally cultivated unique gifts of expression, whether you're a master painter or a master teacher or a master architect or like all these different gifts that
mm,
on the higher planes of existence probably take these, like you say, these different textures and these different expressions that we potentially can't even fathom from where we are as caterpillars. So I thought that was really beautiful when I think of each of us has this yearning within us that we know there's like, because we all feel like there's this higher potential within me. And a lot of us will then start judging ourselves, why didn't I meet up to this potential? But if we're playing the long game and we're truly connected to this infinite, eternal
mm,
ocean that you talk about, and we're just these troughs, well, why limit ourselves from this point? Why, I think, like you
mm.
said, questioning those assumptive beliefs. Do we need to judge ourselves, or maybe this is just our calling, and
Mm.
we're we're just doing our little crawl until we get into our cocoon, um, and the real fun is going to start up next.
Uh-huh. Oof, man, it's a it's definitely a perspective for sure. I I hear you. It's again like that uh reaching into ourselves. It's like the greatest potential that you speak of. I feel in my understanding that potential for a wave is to see itself as an ocean.
Mm, mm,
And for that, the if the wave hurries or like tries to kind of look into itself from the outside, it's it's going against the natural flow of time of when
mm,
it's going to go ultimately back to where it came from.
mhm, mhm,
But I think the realization or what gives us the experience of that of being the mystic, of feeling that immensity within our fractal of an existence is to again
mhm,
embodiment of each experience that we are having, and having that north star that is out there,
mhm,
having that be inside of ourselves.
mhm,
I was like, how deeply can I embody this particular being? Because whatever immensity or whatever experience I am desiring to embody is already coming from some knowing which already exists here.
mhm, mhm,
So for a wave to experience itself as the ocean, which is its potential, I feel, as you say, it's available to us in each and every task,
mhm, mhm.
in washing
Yeah.
the dishes,
Mm,
in being, and just as you said, just understanding and deepening into the context of your action allows for a wave to deeply go back to itself and realize where it's come from.
mm,
And I love how you beautifully put it, the context of, oh, all these people have been nourished. And this is symbolic, like this is an active, it's a gift
mhm,
of, it's a representation of the gift of sustenance, of abundance, that, oh, we have the um, opportunity to feed others or to be fed. And that connection naturally springs forth this feeling of gratitude.
Mhm.
I love those. This is a very potent example because that's also something that I remind myself of whatever my mind is classifying as mundane and, you know, uh, as suffering or as painstaking. It, I am buying something that is being misrepresented. Like something in me is buying something which is not the truth
Mhm.
of the situation.
Mhm.
And the act of doing laundry, it's like, oh, wow, I get to have that context. Oh, I clothe myself. And it just brings this mindfulness in everyday life too.
Mhm.
It ritualizes and uh, perhaps even allows the divinity to be infused
Mhm.
in all things.
Mhm.
And I love that. That's why I love poetry.
Mhm.
And I my practice is to actively bring that forth in my actions too,
Mhm.
apart from my words and my
Mhm.
writings. But I definitely resonate with that beautiful illustration that you brought of how can one deepen into that knowing through accurately um, seeing what truth is in
Mhm.
each situation.
Yeah.
You're not being you're not being enslaved to do the dishes for everybody, rather than you are being offered the chance to um, invite yourself in that presence
Mhm.
of witnessing others.
Mhm.
And I love to put Michael in that too a lot of the times
Mhm.
instead of myself.
Mhm. Yeah, I hear ya. Well, it's interesting. I feel like, there's so much. I think this is such a deep topic about, when we talk about community, we talk about relationships with others ceremonially, like when life becomes a whole ceremony in and of itself. I think we start realizing how related we are, not to one another as brothers and sisters, as human beings, but to all of life. Like we are related to all of creation. And I feel like when we get to that level of inner awareness, that life becomes, it's natural for life to take on a an expression of service, because we realize that it is you are that brother, you are that sister. And then, you know we're we're guided, I feel, in a way that just is as simple as what would love do to, to provide and to serve, anyone, just for being love itself. And there's yeah, and that's, I feel like, why some of these deeper conversations, the mystic questions, the poetry, it all dances around this one very simple yet ineffably profound, I don't even know what to call it. It's not, I don't even think it's a quality. I think it's the only creative power that exists in the cosmos. And it even gives forth the capacity for the expression of separateness, the all the gross, activities that the ego drive can engage in. It allows that freedom to experience even a separation from itself. It's that loving, uh, because it is, I think, the highest intelligent creative power imaginable. So when we try to talk about it, we're doing this thing, all over the place, because it's like you can't point at it. Humans are very innovative with our language, and we're also very audacious, because the most creative power of all existence, we celebrate it one day of the year, you know, and we also name it something that's like just one syllable, love, and it's the simplest word, and and yet I feel like that's a clue to us all of how simply this can all be. We don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to memorize all the 12 chakra systems and understand what everything is. You can, because you have that freedom, but you can also just be playful, like you talked about. You can just be present. You can just be a really good listener. You can enjoy time in nature.
But
You can,
sometimes it goes hand in hand, I think. It's
mm,
like one becomes available through the other, is what I'm also realizing.
mm,
Is the is that my curiosity into the chakra system might invoke playfulness and remembrance within me.
mm,
The attempt to go into subject matter, to educate myself, to understand, to go within that realms of the unknown does inspire those, simple sounding words to actually be experienced. Because a lot
mm,
of us, you know, it's like we hear the words, and for me, there are images that come when I hear some words, and I'm like, okay, there's this image of people meeting, this like smiling, laughter, and sunny. And also, the more I kind of dwell with it, it changes, and it's like more images come, more videos come, more associations come.
mm,
Um, and it's beautiful that we get to experiment, that we get to experience so many multifacets of so many
mm,
different ways of being, ways, the subjects, so many subjects we can, dwell into, and so many things we can find. Because the farther we go, I feel like it kind of almost is this elastic that
mm,
gets pulled, and the more deeper we
mm,
are able to penetrate ourselves into our consciousness, like, oh, well. And I think that's the attempt too. It's like if you're understanding numerology, for example, you go deeper and deeper into the metaphysics of it. It's and how numerology aligns with planetary astrology, how that aligns to archetypal energy, how that connects to the physiology, how it connects to the body cells, how it connects to the tissue. Like you go deeper and deeper through the outward layer, and you reacquaint yourself from a different orbit.
mhm, mhm,
And I feel that's part of the blessings and the, fun of being
mm.
human. You get to
Yeah,
kind of go around and take different orbits
yeah,
to kind of reacquaint yourself.
mm,
And that's part of the journey, I feel like, which should be, yeah, not should be, which is naturally celebrative. Like,
yeah.
it's a celebration of life as we get to experience it.
It's funny as you were talking. It reminds me of like seeing life from the experience of entering portals into new dimensions. I'll say like, and what I mean by that is, and when you put your head underwater and go into a river, it's like you're entering into another dimension that you weren't even aware of before you did that. Or if you just go around the corner in the forest and then there's waterfalls there, it's like you're entering into these dimensional portals of experience. And one of the things, speaking of the chakra system, I learned this from Dr. Sue Morter. Um, she introduced this idea that, we have chakras above our head, but we have a deep-rooted chakra below us. And apparently in that chakra, if you will hang out there in your consciousness and actually feel that, it is a chakra that is connected to our domain destiny. It's like the seed we planted as conscious beings before we came here, that we had a purpose to fulfill, that only we could fulfill, whether it's for the experience or as an experiment, as you said, an intention to grow in a certain way and to be of expression or contribution in a particular way, in a unique way that only we can. And I like thinking of that because to me, the more I understand the enlightenment process as an embodiment, it's this. I think it's just the journey that we're on. It's like the more that we bring that saturation of intended consciousness that you talk about, that can you know put a wall up or alarm others to like not wanting to be exposed, but it's like it is simply from my vantage, it's just who we are. We are consciousness, as simply as that is. We are awareness, and we're experiencing all of these facets of reality. But the more intensely that we cultivate that within the body, and then through gratitude, I think is the best practice, like literally infusing the earth below our feet with it, we become a source of blessing. And it's no longer about us. It's about all the blessings that are like the ripple effect of just being here and being that childlike, cosmic, wondrous being that only you are. Like, I've never met another Siddharth. It's not like I could just go and knock on the neighbors and be like, I want to talk to Siddharth. I have to talk to Siddharth if I'm talking to
Mhm.
Siddharth. And you have a very unique expression. And I want to just, bring it full circle too. You may have noticed I'm wearing this necklace. And I remember, actually, I want to thank you because I remember sitting at the Yellow Deli, one of our other community friends that we met on the island, and one night, and I was just, you know, in one of those states of struggle, and I was looking for truth and how am I going to figure this out? How am I going to figure out being a dad and also fulfilling my mission here on Earth, which I always felt like was this huge mission, and I'm just an odd duck in terms of my perceptions of reality and the things I like to talk about, and you really held space for me in such a beautiful way, and and this necklace was actually given to Julia, like the day before Luciana was conceived, and every day I woke up, um, before I did anything while Julia was pregnant, I would just go through each one of these beads and I would say something I was grateful for, and it just became this practice, and I just didn't feel worthy of that state of gratitude in that moment. I remember giving you the necklace and just being like, can you hold on to this and it'll come back to me when the time is right. And then I noticed it sitting there on Michael's, window ledge at several songs, and I'm like, is the time right? Is the time right? And then it became right. But I want to thank you, Siddharth, because sometimes we don't always recognize the value of our own presence. And you are a blessing in the world. You are a blessing to your community. I know the three of you that are running the Unity Sanctuary are a blessing to those coming through your doors. So I just want to express like heartfelt gratitude for being who you are. You've been a big part of
I know.
our journey, just being you.
It's been a it's synonymous. It's all always, man. Same with you, same with Michael. We're all in it, man.
Yeah.
We're all vibing. They're all vibing, man. Feelings mutual. We feel the love, and I appreciate your. I also receive that love that you outpour, and yeah, yeah, you are love, and your presence speaks just as just in a shimmering way as mine does. I feel like.
Yeah. Thanks. I love you, brother. I really appreciate you saying that.
You got me all blushing, man. Got me all blushed.
Uh, well, I feel like this is it feels like a natural segue into going back into the ocean. So, Siddharth, how can people connect more with you who want to whether work with you, connect with Unity Sanctuary? Can you share more about that?
Oof. Well, I've got a confession to make before that. I I struggle with defining myself. I struggle with knowing or communicating to others what I do.
Hmm.
And I am constantly making stuff up to,
True entrepreneur.
to somehow being able to translate what is it that I'm experiencing.
Mm,
But I feel at the core, uh, at like foundational piece of what I am offering to myself is what I naturally offer to others, which is a playful exploration of what is here.
mm, mm,
And the ways that I do that for myself is active embodiment. through sound, through movement, through dance, through practices of yoga and mindful movement.
Mm,
All those have been really essential tools which
mm,
have helped me develop templates for myself.
mm,
And I feel those around me, I also naturally see how they can aid their process as well.
mm.
So I do offer yoga therapy and sounding sessions, and I continue to deepen my exploration in body attunement through body work and massage that I've been practicing and I continue to practice. And people can find me through unitysanctuary.ca right now. I am in the midst of developing my own website and becoming more crystallized in the way I offer uh, to be myself and be able to translate it,
Okay.
uh, which is part of why we are here at Unity Sanctuaries, because I wanna unburden myself with that
Mm, mm,
need to kind of find different ways of
mm,
describing myself
mhm, mhm,
and just come towards building a conscious community
mhm.
in which we just recognize each other as who we are.
Yeah.
And there is no need to like the need for self description and self determination kind of, you know, eases and relaxes.
Yeah.
And we're like, if you're feeling called that, oh, you could you would love to speak to me, you can just like reach out and be like, hey man,
Hmm.
like this is what I'm looking for your perspective on this. And I'll be like, oh yeah, this is what I feel. And if somebody's having a hard time to kind of having some kind of you know, re-triggering scenario in which their body's feeling quite elevated, they know, and if I'm in their presence, I would naturally, you know, go and aid them and kind of
Hmm.
support them in the process of like coming back to safety and embodiment. So that's kind of the way of life that I aim to embody already. And I feel like my life is naturally evolving to mirror that inner intention that I feel called towards.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, truly appreciate that, Siddharth. And just one last question for you. So, if the wave of Siddharth could have a amplifier and talk to the whole ocean, and the whole ocean could hear what you have to say, what would you say?
I'll just laugh. I'll just giggle. I'll just giggle
That sounds
probably.
like you. I love it. That's beautiful,
Oh.
man. That's beautiful. I think laughter is a really beautiful medicine that you bring, by the way. I think that's a big part of the embodiment that you have. And I don't know if I've invited you yet, Siddharth, but I would love to invite you and everyone at Unity Sanctuary to come join us in our school community because I feel like you're going to meet some soulful family members there. You're probably not a guy who hangs around too much online, but I really love it because there's no ads. It's just authentic connections on school. And I really
Mhm.
see a lot of potential for people to meet through genuine interests. Like I'll be sharing this show in our community as well, and I just feel like we're in a new time online, and I know the game is. I know there's a dance being an entrepreneur, running a center, being in your own quest for those deepening realizations of oneself, and just enjoying the journey. So yeah, it's a time of great beautiful emergence. So you are invited there, and we really feel honored having you on the show. Yeah, totally.
Hallelujah, man.
Hallelujah.
I
Oh
love
man.
celebrating God, man. I
Yeah.
love celebrating existence, and it's yeah. Thank you for offering me to do express my few hoots.
Feuds. That's great. That's beautiful.
Woo-hoo!
Well, you're
Doing
always
great,
welcome.
man.
You're always welcome back, and we'd love to hear how things are evolving for you folks at the Unity Sanctuary. And yeah, just before we invite Luciana to say thanks for watching, everyone, is there anything else you'd like to say, Siddharth?
Hmm. Oh, I do. Got it right here with me. I'm gonna read it. Found it on a bookmark the other day.
Hmm.
Remember, little feather, patience is an egg that hatches great birds. Even the sun is such an egg. Hamba gashle. Go slowly, because if you go slowly, good things will come to you, and you will walk to the end of the road in peace and happiness.
Hmm. Beautiful, my friend. Well, thank you for a beautiful conversation. Really appreciate you.
Thank you, Nathaniel. We long to see you return to the valley and embracing you in this love.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Love and blessings to you and all of those you touch, Siddharth.
Love you, man.
Love you too. Thanks for watching. You say ciao ciao.
Bye.
I love you so much.